The BMWs were dominant in Zolder. Can they do it again? Can Laurent Aiello get back into first place after running behind the BMW? And what about Nissan? Can they get forward in the field? They've been running pretty well. And Opel, they have a lot of work ahead of them. How much work have they done prior to the Nurburgring? We'll find out today in the Super Touring Car Cup at the legendary Nurburgring in Germany. Hello everyone, this is Milt Fitzwater reporting. 29 cars ready to start the racing from the third weekend of the Super Touring Car Cup 1997. On the pole position, the Peugeot of Laurent Aiello. He was on the pole in Hockenheim and won. The car is certainly ready. Question is, can he do it again?
The car is good, yes. We came here 1.5 months or 2 months ago, and we set up the car for the track, for the qualifying. And here for this weekend, when we came on Friday testing, we start to set up the car with on the race condition. I mean, and to find the right tires for the race, because the race is more important than qualifying. And we were lucky that the car was well set up to do this job.
On the outside pole, a surprise, young Marco Werner in the Honda. It's the first time that he's been up front in the Super Touring Car Cup. We are ready for the Nürburgring. The new differential has made us competitive. It's too bad that we didn't have it in Zolder and Hockenheim, but we're very happy. We should be able to stay with the field. The car came to us a little bit late, but now I think we're going to be competitive. Qualifying third, Jörg van Olmen in a Peugeot, looking for his first win in the series. And qualifying fourth, Jochen Winkelhock. He's looking to stay in the points race, and he's one of those that knows this course well.
It's a very safe circuit, you know. All of the drivers, they can get really at the limit, so it's not a big problem if you went off. So there are enough space and gravel and all this. Sorry if I say this, but no, it's not. I don't believe it's a difficult circuit. But it's a difficult circuit to find a good setup. And this is maybe our problem for both of our cars at this weekend.
Drivers getting ready for the sprint race. This is Jörg van Olmen doing a series of stretching exercises before he gets in the car. Manuel Pirro, this is his Audi. And boy, have they had their share of troubles this year. He's a defending champion, but it's been a year of a lot of work.
This year we're facing all sorts of problems. I mean, we're heavier in the season where really we shouldn't be heavier because we got enough other things to slow us down. In the winter we concentrated all the development into the front-wheel driven car, so we're more or less running last year's car. And well, that's the situation. You don't make a step forward, it's like you make a step backward. So right now we are, I don't want to say struggling, but of course we're facing a difficult time. But everybody's motivated, and slowly we get there. We got a big potential behind our shoulders, and we will get there.
And we're about to find out, and so is a good crowd here at the Nürburgring today. The first of the two races, a sprint race that will cover 11 laps. The red flags belong to the Audi fans. Aiello on the right in the Peugeot, the Honda of Marco Werner on the left, waiting for the green. And we're underway. 29 cars head out on the first lap of the sprint race. Coming down will be a right-hander that will narrow the field very quickly. Aiello gets the jump. On the far left-hand side is Winkelhock, and Marco Werner is able to hold off Johnny Ciccato's BMW as he slips into third place in his Honda. So Aiello, who has jumped off to a lead here in the very few first moments of the race, he has got a margin between himself and Winkelhock in the BMW. Marco Werner is in the middle of a BMW sandwich. He has Winkelhock ahead of him and Ciccato behind him. You're riding with Hager right now in another of the Hondas. This is another of our in-camera cars, Sascha Maassen in the Nissan. And ahead of him is Menzel. And you can see that Menzel already has damage on his fender. The young driver, the top young driver so far this year in the series. He's had some very good performances, but it looked like he's got a problem here that may have to be taken care of in the pits. Aiello has stretched the lead. It's unbelievable how quick he's gotten away here. The rest of the field has sorted itself out as they work their way around. Werner got a little bit squirrely there as they head through the short section leading up to the fastest part of the course. They go downhill, a long straightaway with a bend in it, but this is the fastest part, up over 140 miles an hour. That's where the power comes in, is right through this section of the course. There you get a good look at the problem with Menzel's car. Right in the beginning, somewhere somebody bumped him and the fenders come down. Not the best of situations, particularly if it comes loose. Sascha Maassen won't be too happy if it hits his car. Aiello comes across the first lap out in front, then comes Winkelhock, and then comes Marco Werner, then comes Johnny Ceccato. Ceccato is the points leader right now. He's running fourth, and behind him is then Jorg van Omen. And then comes the rest of the field, sorting itself out here at the Nurburgring. Laurent Aiello out in front, treating himself to a birthday present. He turned 28 on Friday. Right now, he's just dominating the field. Amazing start. Everyone else has sorted themselves out very well, though, but the battle is up front for second, third, fourth, and fifth place. Back in sixth is Emmanuel Pirot. You heard him talking about all the development problems they had. The weight he was talking about is the handicap weight that the Audis were given as four-wheel drive cars at the beginning of the season. And it certainly has shown to be a handicap thus far. They've been able to finish in the top 10, but they have not been able to contend for the lead whatsoever. Joachim Winkelhock running in second place. Marco Werner in the Honda. Then comes Johnny Ceccato in the BMW with the red checkers on the white car. And then Jorg van Omen in the second Peugeot. One team is missing here today. The Zakspeed Opels have pulled out of the series. Kurt Team is no longer driving in the series. Uwe Alsen is driving in the series, but he's now with the Holzer Opel team, still number 21. Good battle for second, third, fourth, and fifth. Now this first race, the sprint race, is really a tactical situation. They want to do well. They want to get as many points as they can, but they also know they have to finish in order to get into the second race, which is a longer race. So you kind of have to decide, am I going to go to push this, or am I going to be happy with the second or third place, or do I have to push to get more points? That's something for each team and each driver to decide. These opening laps are settling down to get the racing straightened out. The question is, who's going to do what? And right now the question is, what's going to happen to the back end of Christian Menzel's car? And you're getting a good view of it from the Nissan of Sascha Maassen. There you see the first car is Roland Asch, then comes Menzel, and then comes the Maassen car. So the two Nissans have Menzel sandwiched between them, but right now Menzel's car presents somewhat of a hazard to the rest of the field, dragging that bumper along. There you see the Opel of Bartels behind the Maassen car. Everyone running well. Now the problem you see there is the red car is an Alfa Romeo, and now those cars have certainly had their share of problems here in the Super Touring Car Cup. They have not run as well as anybody would have hoped them to run. Somewhere along the way, I'm sure they will be, but there's a lot of work to be done with those cars yet. There is Bartels in that group of four. There is one more Opel further up, and that is of Alsen. A little bumping going on through the corner. Pirot being bumped by Hager. And one of the Audis taking an extra shortcut here at the Nurburgring. That corner has a tendency to be ripped down as the race goes along. They put up the barriers and tell the drivers, stay off the barriers, don't hit them. But at this course, they head up through that chicane, and everybody's trying to get the quickest way through. At one time, it was a little bit more open. Here you see Hager going through. He hits that as he tries to get by Pirro. Pirro holds him off. So they go through the chicane. You can see how they're using the curbs here. The curbs are originally changed for the Formula One race and made a little bit tighter. The touring cars had a little bit of a problem, but now they've solved it and just keep using the curbs as it is. They cut those pylons just as close as they possibly can. There's the second, third, fourth, and fifth cars. Winkelhock, then comes Werner, then comes Cecotto, and then comes Van Omen. Meanwhile, Aiello is just running away from everybody. Laurent Peugeot is a dominant force here at the Nurburgring today. Unbelievable. There he goes. He's through the chicane. Now here come the quartet that's trailing him. He dominated the warm-up today, and he dominated qualifying. Nobody's really been close to him. The Peugeot folks did their job here. They felt that they would have an advantage at this particular course, so they really spent a tremendous amount of effort here, knowing they want to get as many points as they possibly can for him particularly in the driver's points race, to get him back up front, but also to put him in position for a couple of courses coming up where the car is not quite as strong. And he certainly has done his job today. He's left everybody behind. It doesn't look like Van Omen is pushing that hard. He's sitting back there in fifth place and is not pushing that trio very hard. And there once again is Christian Menzel, the junior driver, who's done so well here in the first 3 weekends of racing. And that fender is still hanging down, and Sascha Maassen still right behind him. Maassen now right up on that part. I'm sure he'd like to get by him, fearing the fact that that part may fall off and hit his car. Here they come through the chicane. So Maassen is in a very difficult situation. He really would like to get by him and simply can't at this early stage in the race. Here comes Bartels. He is working on Maassen and gets by him. And you're riding right now with Maassen, getting a look at Bartels and a great look at the course here at the Nürburgring. Particularly this chicane where everybody cheats as best they can over those curves. There's a short chute here. It bends to the right. And then you'll head down the start-finish line. The hotel there on the left. And take a look at how they went through the chicane. Menzel doing a very nice job for a young touring car driver. Great control. Comes from Formula Racing. Adapted to touring cars very, very quickly. Cecotto continues to put the pressure on Marco Werner. Cecotto can't get much closer without saying hello by bumping him. And Marco Werner is getting a baptism of competition here. This is the first time that he's been running this far up front, and he's got some tough competition behind him and ahead of him. Cecotto, a veteran of touring car racing, one of the toughest drivers anywhere when it comes to this type of competition. Ahead of him is Joachim Winkelhock, also a veteran of touring car racing. But right now, I don't think that Marco Werner is concentrating so much on catching up with Winkelhock as he is holding off Johnny Cecotto. And there sits Jörg Van Omen, kind of watching this whole thing back one slot further. Back in fifth place. This is your battle here for second, third, and fourth, with Van Omen sitting back just a little bit further. Nothing seems to have bothered Werner as yet. Doing a great job of driving here. He's been coming on this season for Honda. And once they put that new differential in for this particular event, then all of a sudden the car jumped forward and he was on the outside pole. And now he's running with the best of them. You have to kind of wonder what's going through his mind in a way, because there certainly has to be some stress here. when all of a sudden you come from a middle to a little bit further back in the pack to running up with the top group. The pressure's on. And he seems to be dealing with it very, very well. But Ciccato can't get any closer. He's doing everything but getting in the back trunk with it. As you can see, Winkelhock enjoys just a little bit of a lead on Marco Werner, because Werner certainly is watching his rearview mirror a lot here. He's doing a great job. And the Honda folks certainly have to be happy. Their car is running up front. And this quartet right here has been putting on quite a show for the fans here at the Nurburgring. Crowd estimated at over 35,000 today. There's Emmanuel Pirro, and he has Alfred Hager right behind him. Hager, the teammate of Marco Werner. And here comes Hager trying to get by Pirro, and not quite. It looks like they may have bumped a little bit, or not quite, but they're very close here. Here comes Hager, and he gets by the Audi. Hager taking over 6th position here. So Honda's smiling. They're 3rd and 6th with the 2 cars they've entered in the series. Once again, you see that battle as Uwe Alsen has moved up too. So Alsen, who is driving a new car, still an Opel, but is still putting on quite a performance here. He's impressed everybody. There comes Hager, then Pirro, and then comes Alsen in the best placed Opel so far. Actually, it's quite a show for Uwe Alsen. Those that watched the race from Hockenheim remember him as the driver who went several laps without the whole left side of his car. The doors were totally gone before they pulled him in. Very competitive driver. Certainly stepping into a new car has his work cut out for him. Menzel has come in. They're going to get that part off. They're just sawing it off so they can get back out into the race. That'll cost him several places, especially here in the sprint where there's only 11 laps. Take a look at that chicane once again. This is Gindorf. Well, so much for that pylon. It was inevitable. It happens every time. There's Manuel Reuter, another of the Opels. He certainly had his share of problems. He had to start from pit row in this first race. So he's just simply had to work his way through as best he can. This is Marco Werner and Johnny Ciccato, and Ciccato is not letting up. He is not letting up. The question is, where did Winkelhock disappear to? There, he's gone into the pits. He has engine problems, and so they're going to have to go to work on that car and see if they can get it ready for the second race anyway, if they want to keep Winkelhock in the chase for the Drivers' Championship. It's actually a shame because Winkelhock is right up there with the leaders. He's been contending, and now to drop out here this early in the season can be very difficult. There's a hard points to make up. So Marco Werner has moved into 2nd place as Winkelhock has gone to the pits. What a great performance for the young driver. The question now is, how much pressure can he take from Johnny Ciccato? Because Ciccato is not letting up, period. Ciccato is just staying right there on his bumper. You're riding once again with Sascha Maassen as you head into the 180 that brings them around and back up the hill again. Here at the Nurburgring. Get a good look at the course there. And this is Bromberger going through the chicane. One of the independent drivers in an Alfa Romeo. But this battle right here for 2nd and 3rd has not let up. Now you're watching a driver on a Sunday drive at work, Alfred Hager in his Honda. Can't any get any closer than that unless you want to sit next to him yourself. There is Winkelhock. He's waiting now for his car to be repaired, hopefully, so he can get into the second race. There goes Aiello. He has led from the start. He was on the pole. He dominated qualifying, and he's just plain dominating the race and running away from it. There is the field behind them, that opening group. There comes Hager. Then comes Alsen. Then Pirot and Peter in the two, Philip Peter in the two Audis. And then Roland Asch in the Nissan is trying to get by them as best he can, but the Audis are going to be tough. Manuel Pirot, the champion in the series. He knew he had a lot of work cut out for him, but I'm not too sure he expected how much he had until now. But he certainly has it cut out for him now. This is one of the independent drivers, Heigert. He's headed through the chicane with a little bit different line. He got loose there coming around. Here comes Asch. He wants to get by Philip Peter, but he is going to make it or not? No, he's not. Dropped in behind once again. Philip Peter will do his best to protect Pirot because he's the man in the points race right now for them. So I pretty much with Philip Peter watching out for Asch as much as he is trying to hold position and maybe get by Pirot, but right now Pirot's the man that needs the points. But Peter gets by him after either a mistake or whatever, but he cut the corner. And you can see that he's making life difficult for the Nissan of Roland Asch. And now, mixing it in there with this group is Bartels in his Opel. And Asch, all of a sudden, lost 2 positions going off the course there. So now you have Peter, then comes Pirot. Evidently, Peter just made a braking mistake. Took a different line through the chicane. Came out ahead. The officials sometimes frown on that kind of maneuver. And there was a slight bump by Bartels that sent Roland Asch back a couple positions. So the Nissans were doing pretty well, and now they've got their work cut out for them once again. Michel Bartels in the Opels holding up their flag. Uwe Alsen, the man so far that really is doing a tremendous job for Opel. Running up around 6th place right now. Talk about tremendous jobs. Laurent Aiello. This Peugeot has simply shown everyone the way and then said, try to catch me. And nobody can. Smooth. He actually doesn't have to worry too much. He can conserve as much as he wants to. He's got a big lead on the 2nd and 3rd place cars. He simply has to bring it home. And here he is. Laurent Aiello wins his 2nd sprint race of the season, his 3rd race overall in the Super Touring Car Cup. And Marco Werner, with his best finish ever in the Super Touring Car, comes in 2nd. Johnny Ciccato's 3rd with some valuable points in the championship. Back in the pack here in the final moments. Going off the course, Stefano Modena in his Alfa Romeo. He's had an unbelievably disappointing year so far. The car caught fire during qualifying. They got the car ready, and then here in the last moments, he has to go off the course. But there's the winner of the first race of the day here at the Nurburgring, Laurent Aiello. But look at that, Marco Werner finishing 2nd, and the other Honda von Hager coming in 5th. So what a great day for Honda, the best Opel 6th. Everybody did pretty well today, but the man, of course, Laurent Aiello. It was an easy race.
Yes, it was. I'm sorry to say that, but yes, the car is very nice, good balance for the race. I don't know about the second race, but we've made a different choice on the tires. I hope it will be okay. And I don't know about the Honda. I saw that the Honda will fight very hardly with the BMW. I don't know if the Honda is maybe if the Honda was just behind me at the start of the race, maybe it was able to follow me or not. I don't know. But yes, the car was good. Everything is all right.
And there's the Honda of Marco Werner. It's the first time that he's finished up in the top 3. He'll be on the podium But this was a hard race.
Ja, es war hart.
Yes, it was very hard, particularly with the two BMWs. I drove on the limit. I had Winkelhock ahead of me, and then I had Chicato putting pressure on me from behind. It was a totally new situation for me, but the car held up, and it went very, very well, and now the second step's ahead, and that's the race, and I hope to do well. There's the Peugeot of Laurent Aiello, the car that won the first race. Mechanics getting ready for the second race. Hope they can do it again. As far as BMW concerned, it was a good and a bad day.
It's a technical problem with Joe, and unfortunately for us, we were going well, but I was very surprised of the speed of the Peugeot. From a steady start, from the first corner to the end of it, he gets 2.5 seconds off everybody else. This is, I cannot believe this. At the same time, we do our very best. The team is working together to change the engine to Joe. It's almost an impossible task, but we're trying very hard.
And so now everybody gets ready for the second race of the day. This is the feature race. It's double the distance. And they've got the car ready from Winkelhock. They put a brand new engine in. It took about 30 minutes. He'll start from pit road, but he will be able to start. What a great job by the mechanics. Now ready to go. Aiello on the right. Once again, Marco Werner on the left. This is the feature race here at the Nurburgring today. 22 laps lie ahead. Countdown is going, and it should be underway. We are, and there is Aiello with another good start. Let's see how well Chicato got by. It looked like he tried to move over and up front. It's hard to tell. Aiello is out in front. There comes Chicato running second in the BMW. Marco Werner got off to a bad start and is now running third. And Van Omen drops in behind him. We have a car spinning. It looks like Reuter spun, touched Niedwitz, and Niedwitz backed into Bromberger. Before we know how that came out, we have to take a look at it again, but there's Niedwitz's car. He is out for the day. The rest of the field continues to go. Question is, can they get that debris off the course in time? And look at the lead that Aiello has already. He has taken off and left Chicato behind. The red flag is out. The race has been stopped. They're going to have to restart it. There you see Manuel Reuter's Opel. Whether he was the one that started it or Niedwitz started it, we'll have to wait and see. Somebody spun and touched the other one. The question is, who did it and how badly did they do it? Let's take a look. Well, it's kind of hard to tell. Reuter got sideways. He touched Niedwitz. Niedwitz backed into Bromberger, and they have that very strong driver's side protection. In this case, it was vital. Not sure where that started, but Reuter was right in the middle of it. And Niedwitz looks like he got probably the worst of it. So the cars have gone back to the pits. Aiello will sit there and wait until they're ready to go back out again as the crews go to work to clean up the track. While they do that, we have a chance to take a look at one of the drivers here in the series. BMW driver Jochen Winkelhock is back in Germany after spending last season in the British Touring Car Championship. The season in England helped the 36-year-old star.
Yeah, was good, you know, because the characteristics of the race circuit in England, they are completely different to the European or to the German race circuits, because they are very small circuits, bumpy, up and down. All the most of the circuits in England are a little, how I can say, a small Nurburgring Nordschleife, you know, up and down and very tight and bumpy. And so the field, the whole race, it's the car very close together. So it's always a big fight, and this is the big difference to the German race circuits.
You yourself changed a lot, because I remember talking to you in the DTM time. Your English was not as good as it is now.
Not good enough.
But you've changed a lot since you went to England.
Yeah, no, it was no question, because when I started with BMW 1990, 91 and 93, I was always in a team with 3 drivers, and always I was the number 2 or number 3. So, you know, I could not show my talent and my performance, and this was a very good, how can I say, good school in England, because there was 2 drivers more or less the same preparing the car, and I learned a lot from Steve Soper. And I was less under pressure in England than in Germany because I don't know the circuits and everything was new for me. And so maybe this was the key for the success in England.
He's being tested again today because now when they rebuilt the car, he starts at the back of the pack. 26 cars ready to go. 18 laps of racing still to go here in the feature race at the Nurburgring. And so we've started again. Let's see if Marco Werner gets a better start this second time around. Got off to a bad start the last time. Well, it looks a little bit better, but he's got Ceccato, and Ceccato's right behind Aiello, and Ceccato cuts him off big time going into the corner. So the veteran, Johnny Ceccato, cuts off the young driver in the Honda, Marco Werner. We have a car sideways, but not touching anybody this time, so it doesn't look like there'll be any problems with the race. This is Stefano Modena. Can you believe that? The man just has had his share of problems. Somewhere along the way, you know that Alfa Romeo is going to come back, but right now they just seem to be pressed by all kinds of hard luck. The Peugeot of Laurent Aiello already pulling away. Johnny Ceccato is trying to stay with him but can't. And we have a battle right in the back right now for third and fourth. This is young Marco Werner and Emmanuel Pirot. And Werner in the Honda holds Pirot off. So now he's got a clear shot at trying to get back up at least with Johnny Ceccato. Whether anyone can catch Laurent Aiello, that is a big question. And there is Aiello. Now Ceccato is staying with him, at least better than they were in the first one. There comes the teammate in the yellow Peugeot, Van Omen. He's trying to get back up. He had a bad start and dropped back a ways. And he's battling Alfred Hager in the Honda. The Opels working themselves into the field here in this first lap. You're riding once again with Sascha Maassen. He has the Opel of Burgstaller ahead of him. Coming up into the chicane, which always presents some interesting lines as the race wears on. But everybody right now, like a freight train heading through. Maassen sitting back and watching the action as Burgstaller tries to move up here in this first lap, unable to do so far. Uwe Alsen, the best Opel finisher in the first race, still up right there. You see him on the yellow stripes on the front of the car of the Opel. And Michel Bartels has moved up a ways. He got a good jump at the start. So the two Opels are doing well here. Alsen has Hager in front of him in the Honda. And the factory Opel, or factory Audis, have dropped back a little bit. Once again with Sascha Maassen, this time you're going downhill, heading into the turn that brings them back up the hill again. They head uphill, they'll have a short chicane, and then down to the fastest part of the course. And the man leading the field, Laurent Aiello and his Peugeot once again. So far this season, we've had nothing but double winners. At Hockenheim, it was Aiello, and then in Zolder, it was Ceccato. Right now, Aiello's on the way again to do it. Look at that. The BMW with the headlights on, Jochen Winkelhock. He is making a charge. He started way back in the pack and now is fighting his way toward the front. You can see him with the headlights on. When you consider he started 26th and he now is up to about 13th place, that's quite a charge so far. There he is. Comes right by. You can kind of catch him very closely. And once again, the Nissans having to battle their way through the pack. Chris Nissan in an Audi, in that bright color Audi with the yellow rear view mirrors. And two cars ahead of him is another Dayglow Abt Sportsline car of Christian Abt. Incidentally, those two drivers, Abt and Nissan, will go on and drive in Le Mans. They'll be in a VW Golf, in fact. There comes Winkelhock, and it looks like something's hanging down in the back of Winkelhock's car. The same problem, except on the other side, that Menzel had, Winkelhock has. Can you believe that? Menzel was eventually called in because he had to have that back fender that was hanging down taken off. after a great charge from back in 26th position all the way up to what amounts to right now, it looks to be about 10th place. And he's got a problem like that. He has to keep going as long as he can. But if he comes in, that charge, for all it was worth then, is lost. What a shame. But so far, he's still running. He's still pushing it. Look at that. He is working hard to move up another slot as he wants to get by Burgstaller, and he does. And now he has Chris Nissen ahead of him, but Nissen in that day-glow yellow Audi cuts him off as they head through the chicane. There comes Nissen, and there right behind him is Joachim Winkelhock. He wants to do it again before the start-finish line. He's on the inside. Let's see if he does get by. He got by Chris Nissen. What an amazing drive. He's come from 26th. And now he's running right up with the Packer, running around 10th position. An amazing drive. Can he go further? Or will the officials have to call him in to have that back fender taken off? Boy, that's a tough decision. Here they come. This is Christian Abt out in front. Then comes the Audi of Vidali. Then comes the Nissen. This is Maassen. And then comes Joachim Winkelhock. He's probably one of the most personable drivers in the field, a wonderful sense of humor. But this man has no humor right now, I'm sure. That's Philip Pater in the Audi, his car parked. He has not had a season that he probably is that proud of. It's been a difficult year all the way around for the Audi drivers. Oddly enough, not for these in the day-glow yellow. The Abt team are independent or private drivers, and they have many times outperformed the factory Audis. A lot of people felt it might have been the fact that they're running on Yokohama tires, and the Audis were on Dunlop. Now, the factory Audis have spent a lot of time testing with Dunlop, and it looks like it's paid off. They're running a lot stronger today, but Christian Abt is still right there in his independent Audi running on the Yokohamas. The big tire winner so far this season, incidentally, is Michelin. They've won every race so far. Vidali gets by Christian Abt, and we have a 5-car battle. Here comes Winkelhock once again. You can see him on the right. He keeps pushing, but that fender keeps getting more and more loose and dragging more and more. So it's Vidali, and then comes Winkelhock, then comes Maassen. Now you're back in the pack a little bit. Here they come again. There's Vidali, and Winkelhock is right behind her. Can he move up? Well, we're about to find out. What a great drive by Joachim Winkelhock, and he has not won a race yet this season. He's been competitive, he's been up front, he has led, but he has not won. Maassen is right now behind Christian Abt, and you're riding with him here. As you can see the Abt car right in front of him, heading down toward the turn, taking the back up to the course, up the hill toward the beginning of the course. You can call this the halfway point if you want to. Nissen is passed. Or is he? No, he's not. He holds off Burgstaller. But he continues to press him. This back in the, here comes Winkelhock. And Winkelhock gets by once again. He has now moved in to 10th place officially. He's running 10th. Starting 26th. What a great drive. He passed Tamara Vidali and took over 10th place. But remember, Christian Menzel was pulled in with a similar problem in the first race to have it taken care of. If that happens to Winkelhock, a great drive goes for naught. The battle is back in the pack right now. You get a chance to see some of the independent drivers as they battle it out. Because the fact is that up front, it's amazing how dominant Aiello has been. There comes Winkelhock, and he is pulling away from this group. Muller in the Audi right there with the red rear view mirrors. He's in his first season in the series, in this series. And one of the Audis has gone off again. There you get a good look at the Winkelhock car and that fender hanging down. The best thing that could happen would be that it comes off, but that's also a dangerous thing to have happen. So it's a touchy situation right now. Winkelhock cannot afford not to finish here in the points. There's the board. Aiello in the Peugeot, then the BMW, and Marco Werner, the young driver who did so well in the first race, running third here behind the top two. And then comes Alfred Hager in another Honda. Manuel Apiro is running fifth in the Audi, which is great. So the manufacturer is coming around. The car is getting stronger. We're getting a better mixture of finishers here at the Nurburgring. You're riding now in the Nissan of Sascha Mazen. He's done pretty well this season. The car has run fairly well. He's qualified it well. It just now has to get up a little higher in the field. Philip Pater's car, they're going to have to get it out of the gravel. He too has had his share of problems here. And Winkelhock's car is coming in. He has been black flagged. Jochen Winkelhock has been black flagged. His BMW will come into the pits. Oh, what a shame. There had been a couple of warning flags out, evidently. We had not seen them, and then all of a sudden, the organizers dropped the black flag, and Winkelhock climbs out of his car, looks at the fender. Oh, what a kick that was. Hope he didn't hurt his foot. This has certainly cost him a great number of points in the championship. His teammate, Johnny Cicotto, will pick up a number of points here. And when the time comes at the end of the season and they start thinking about who needs to finish ahead of somebody else for the points, if Winkelhock's behind, it won't help him out at all. You're riding once again looking at Sascha Mazen. And now take a look at a replay here. This is the File Alfa Romeo, and he's got problems. Looks like something's rubbing against that back tire. Gindorf on the inside, getting by him. Here's Mazen. Behind him is Bartels. And Sascha Mazen now has his teammate Roland Asch ahead of him. What a shame for Winkelhock. Great drive. But there's not much he could do about it. That was the way it goes. We're in the 15th lap, and we're about to finish it here. 18 laps make up this feature race today after that first race accident. There you see the Nissan of Roland Asch, followed by his teammate Sascha Mazen, and behind them, the Opel of Michel Bartels. Might be interesting to see here whether Mazen gets by Asch or not, or whether the team says he should, mainly because of the point situation. There's the File car. He's had to park it. There's your leader. He just keeps going and going and going. 3 laps to go, and Laurent Aiello continues his domination. What a great performance. Jörg van Omen, his teammate, running 5th. Pirro in the Audi, running 6th. Look at that. Uwe Alsen up in 7th place in the Opel. It'll be one of their better finishes this season. Tamara Vidali, the only woman in the field. This is the man. This is the man that owns this circuit today. It's unbelievable. The testing paid off. They knew they had a good chance to win here, and they took advantage of it. That Peugeot crew has done a tremendous job. Marco Werner is running behind this man, Johnny Cicotto. Cicotto, as you can see, quite a ways behind. This is one of the lap cars, Heigert, coming by, and then comes Marco Werner. Behind him, Alfred Hager, his teammate, and behind him, Van Omen. So Hager right now probably will do a little bit of defensive work if he has to hold off Van Omen, although Van Omen doesn't seem to be challenging at this moment. Young Marco Werner certainly put on a great performance today for the fans, certainly for Honda. Right now, that's the closest margin as far as the group is concerned with Hager and Van Omen. You see it right there. But Van Olmen has not been pushing him that much. He'll pick up the points. A very experienced driver. He knows he can't catch his teammate. So if he comes in with the points, then Peugeot will continue to be very strong in the Manufacturers' Championship. Before the season, 2 drivers had to be nominated as the ones who would pick up points for the Manufacturers' Championship. And since Peugeot only has those 2 cars in the field, then these 2 drivers, their combined points that they finish are what goes toward the Manufacturers' Championship. So Aiello dominating here will pick up the winner's share of the points, but then if Van Olmen can finish up in the top 5, there'll be more points there. Their main competitors, of course, have been the BMW team with Winkelhock and Cecotto, the Bugazzi BMW drivers. But Aiello just continues to coast. It is simply amazing how he has dominated here. They knew they would have problems in Zolder, and they did. They finished down a little bit behind the BMWs, but then they came back here, and one car has had some body damage to it. But back to Aiello, he has just taken advantage of everything he could here. It'll be interesting to see how the rest of the season goes, because everyone else is going to have to play a lot of catch-up. There are your standings on the next to last lap. If anyone had said before the race that Marco Werner would do so well, I'm sure everybody would have kind of snickered, but not anymore. This is the race where he makes a name for himself. It's the first time they'll be on the podium, not just once, but he'll be up there twice. What a tremendous performance. He knew after the first race that he didn't have much chance of catching Aiello. In fact, he said, I don't think I can, but I want to keep my position. And he certainly has done that. And he certainly is down to earth when he knows that he said, I'm the newcomer in this group, and everybody, I'm up there with all these big name stars, and he was a little bit nervous, but he was happy with his performance. But the man that has to be more happy with his performance is this one. Laurent Aiello wins the feature race here at the Nurburgring. His 4th win overall in the season, his 2nd feature win. What a great performance. Johnny Cecotto brings home the BMW 2nd, so he is in the points race and continues to be there, and with a good, healthy lead over his teammate. Here comes young Marco Werner, followed by Alfred Hager. And there's your top 10 finish. Look at Audi and Opel. They did very well, but the man of the weekend, Laurent Aiello.
It was a perfect weekend. Here was a race, was a circuit for us. We had to take a lot of points. We won. This is great for the rest of the championship. The next 2 races will be more difficult for us, so we had to take a lot of points here, and now it's done, so I'm very happy.
Now let's take a look at the drivers' point race. Aiello is back on top, then comes Cecotto. Winkelhock is still in 3rd, but look how far he's dropped back. But Cecotto is the man that had the great race, finishing 3rd and 2nd.
We were working mainly for the race yesterday. We didn't care so much about qualifying. I did just 2 laps to save my tires for the race. And we chose the hardest rubber for the 2nd race because we know it was going to be hard for the tires. Yeah, unfortunately, the temperature was not enough, I think, for those tires, and we were sliding a little bit, so there was no chance to challenge Aiello, and so the 2nd place, I think, is quite good.
It couldn't have been any better. I have to remain realistic. I raced against the big names and did well. I'm quite satisfied, particularly in the sprint where I had a lot of pressure from Johnny Cecotto. He put a lot of pressure on me, in fact. I really have to say I'm surprised I did so well for myself. So that does it for the racing today here at the legendary Nürburgring. The next race, the Sachsenring. Promised to be some great competition. This has been Milt Fitzwater reporting. Hope you enjoyed our coverage today. The Peugeot team certainly enjoyed their performance with a nice tradition of their own here at the Nürburgring. The mechanics make sure everybody knows who they are. And so to the top 3. Time for a champagne bath here at the Nürburgring.